What's good, everybody? What's good, everybody? It's me again. I apologize if I seem a little tired. I've been running errands all day, so it's a good tired. It's a good tired. Um, before I even started shuffling. It's the first thing I see, right? That's what I mean by it's a good tired. Been working hard. Them ten of pentacles, right? Those 10 seeds. Those 10 seeds we've been watering. They're growing, and this is harvest season. See, this is what I get for not for not hesitating before I actually hit that play button. Because to be honest, there's a method to my madness. I'm pushing past some old perfectionism by I just hit that play button, and I try not to think too much. When I first started doing the tarot readings, I would actually do the full spread. Like I mean, not to say that I would never do that again, but I would do a full spread. I would pull like 7-8 cards, and then push play and then talk. I used to literally like write notes, bullet points in a notebook and everything. And again, I'm not saying I would never do that. Depending on what I want to talk about, I might still need to do those bullet points, but I stopped doing all that like right before every reading. Especially also now that I'm trying to like really put myself out there more often and do this every day. And the reality is that I know how to do this, right? Like I don't have to be so nervous about this. I know how to do this. I'm actually just a lot more confident in person. I said on here before that I'm a little bit old school. I'm a little bit older than I look. I'm a little bit older than I look, and so and I've always felt like, even back 20 years ago, I used to do one-on-one tutoring and everything, and I just think about how much I prefer the one-on-one tutoring to classroom teaching. I mean, of course I do. Like, who wants to have to tame a whole classroom? And although I've only done like summer camp, and then I was a teacher's assistant during the regular season. But see, these are the next two cards. I literally just been shuffling, having fun. And this is what I mean, right? I'm allowing myself to be in this full energy. I'm allowing myself to be in this full energy again. I'm allowing myself to get back to when I was less afraid to do stuff. Right? Disappointment, backstabbing, if anything, it can cause us to become more hesitant where we wasn't before. Like I used to be more flirty. I used to go out more. And so I mentioned this literally showed up in the last reading. Right? So we could be going back into this full energy. And remember, being a fool doesn't necessarily mean walking blindly into any situation. That's not what being a fool means. Right? It means you had a gut feeling. Right? You had a gut feeling, you had a vision, you had a dream. You saw that sign. And when spirit is giving you that nudge, because I've done it plenty of times. I feel that nudge from spirit, and I could also feel like my throat lock it, like my voice locks up, or I'll just like go into my head. But I think all the time back, when I first started DJing, when I first started tutoring, like even one-on-one tutoring is not to say that it's super risky, but I think back on some of the things I did without thinking about it, and I'm like, that was kind of a thing. Like I actually did something. That's kind of a big deal. You know what I'm saying? I've been downplaying myself for so long that I forgot that I've been downplaying myself for so long. You know what I'm saying? Like, Z, you don't have to keep doing that. And notice these two came out right with each other. 10 of Cups and the Fool card. So this might be about love, like romantic love, but it could also be about family. It could be about finding your tribe. So one of the reasons too also why, see, this is at the bottom of the deck, right? Putting myself out there, like actually going outside. What I said about it's time to come outside, right? So part of the reason why I've been coming outside more, I mean, I definitely want to travel the world. You're holding that rose in his hand. But to put it more simply, just be outside, is because I'm ready. It's like I'm ready for new connections. I'm ready for higher vibing connections. I'm ready for braver connections. Like everybody's so focused on being smart, and it's like, where are the brave people? Like, where are the people who are brave? Where are the people who are not afraid to take a chance on their dream? Where are those people? I have a lot of people. I have a lot of friends who are smart. They're smart. They work hard, and they're great. They're great people. They're reliable people. They're consistent people. But it's like, where is my other fools? Where are my other fools? Where are the people who dare to dream, who dreamed a different kind of dream and dared to try it? Like, where are you guys? Where are you folks? Where are you people? Like, how many of you, and I'm not necessarily talking about artists. It's the easiest analogy, really, to just be like, go for that acting or go for it. But it's like, it could be the other way around. Maybe you've been doing all this acting or doing all this artsy stuff, and you actually low-key want to go get a regular job. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's both. Nobody here is telling you to quit your job. You got some bills to pay. Keep your day job. Don't quit. You know what I mean? That's not what I'm talking about. Okay? I'm not talking about being a literal fool. Okay? I'm talking about being a little bit braver. It's like, I know so many people with master's degrees in film and graphic design and theater, and it's like, well, when do you want to create some theater? And they look at me like, well, when are you going to get a job? It's like, what does that have to do with why we're not creating any theater? You know what I'm saying? And so, like, that's what I mean by where's my brave tribe? Where's the tribe? Where's the people that's not? See, Ten of Pentacles just popped up again. I forgot to put that down. It was like, you forgot to put that out here with the rest of these cards. It's like, where are the people out here who's down to meet up after work and talk about funny skits that we can put together? I got tons of ideas. Sometimes I just be needing a cameraman, but you know what I mean? I got no money to pay. If you got the money to pay people, they don't have to ask way less questions. Like, let's be honest. People out here chasing a piece of green paper, and it's like, we forget, like, money's everywhere. Times are changing, and money is everywhere. There isn't only one way to make money. And I'm literally, trust me when I say I'm not out here trying to be a starving artist, and I ain't starving. I ain't never starved a day in my life. All right, so yeah, there's been days I've had day jobs. I've not had day jobs. I've had a lot of money. I had a little bit of money. But I've never starved one day in my life. So, right? Where's my strong friends? You know what I mean? You know, one of my favorite quotes is, I might not be a smart man, but I know what love is, right? I feel like it's similar. I feel like love requires some courage, some bravery, not just being smart. You have a head and a heart. You can use them both. You know, I'm just here. I just feel like God put me here on earth to remind people that you can use both. You can use your head and your heart at the same time. One doesn't have to rule over the other. You notice we have a world, it's like we live in a world of people who can only conceptualize connections where somebody has control over the other person. It's like, we don't really have to do this. There's more than enough land. There's more than enough resources. There's more than enough religions you can make up. It's like, I feel like we're just making up problems so that we can feel like we have something to solve, because we're not going within. We're not going within. I think Bob Marley said, what's the good of inheriting the world just to lose your soul? Something like that. You get what I'm trying to say? And granted, yes. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I'm really talking about, I'm talking to those out here who is learning how to be more in your heart space. Who's learning how to trust your gut. Right? Because there's a lot of smart things you can do. It's one of the things about being such a multi-talented person, to be honest. And I don't say this to brag, because, you know, it can get a little bit confusing, because you're just like, well, what do I do? Like, which which of these things am I supposed to do? I have all these interesting abilities, right? I'm just a fast learner, right? When it really comes down to it, and I love creating, and so if anything, that also forced me to get out of my head so much. I was doing a lot of things that were smart and they were working, and then oh wait, what am I gonna say? There's another saying, right? There's another saying that goes, when you want to go fast, you go alone. When you want to go far, you go with a team, right? And so I went fast, and I went alone, right? It's like I had all these high-paying gigs and no one around to notice. So, you know how somebody could literally, I live in New York City, right? And we probably sit on the train, we ride the train, we go to our cafes and walk down the block. Like, we rub elbows with celebrities every day. We rub elbows with rich people every day, and you wouldn't know. They blend right on in. Right? And where am I going with that? I forgot where I was going with that. My thoughts been interrupted. It's gonna come back to me, right? That spirit is like, trust the intuition, Z, just keep going, right? This is the wand. I think one thing I forgot to mention, because she keeps coming up, I know that she keeps popping up, and I think it's because it's this one thing in particular that I keep mentioning, the flower in her hand. She has a sunflower in her hand, right? When I think of sunflowers, I actually think of Leo energy. But where am I going with this? I feel like I can go a few places with this. It's kind of like stopping to smell the roses. It's like this person, like, she's a woman of action. Like, Wands is fire. Wands is fire. Fire is passion. It's movement. It's electricity, right? This little cat represents your intuition. And I feel like this flower also represents blooming. I feel like it represents blooming like a flower. Which also, it's not literally, which makes me think of like the chakra alignment and the flower. It also makes me think of like stopping to smell the flowers. It also makes me think of like sort of like allowing yourself to enjoy the simpler parts of life, like simply having a flower. Right? She's the queen. She could be holding anything in that hand. It could be a weapon. It could be her money. It could be a notepad. Like, she could be holding anything. It's just like, I don't want to forget to admire the simple yet beautiful yet miraculous parts of life. And pardon if I look distracted. Somebody decides they want to change the garbage can over here. Oh, no, he's not. He just decided he wanted to walk this way for no reason. What the hell was even that? I guess he was checking the garbage, checking to see if the garbage needed to be changed. It's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, I thought these maintenance people started at 8 o'clock in the morning. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what was that even about? I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? But you get what I'm trying to say. I feel like this flower is trying to say something, and it could be many of the things I just said. I feel like I might come back in the next reading and have more to say about that flower, because the flower is also, because I see pictures of that flower in here. So it's like enjoying nature, and also it puts me in mind of something I said in another reading about trusting your natural self, trusting nature, and reminding yourself that you are nature, and therefore you can trust what comes natural for you, right? And that's all I've been doing. That's all I've been doing, is trusting myself, trusting my intuition, trusting what comes natural. Talking comes natural. Teaching, although I hate to be all teachy all the time, but teaching does come natural. I love showing people how to do things, and also love learning. I love learning as much as I love teaching. I love connecting. Everything I do, just about everything I do, is about connection. DJing is about connection. It's about connecting to people energetically, and this is about connecting to people more intimately. But they're really all about connection. And that's one of the things I feel like I've been lacking. Like, not to say I have day ones. You know, I have friends that are family. But like I said, it's like, where are the brave people? Because everybody's doing the smart thing, and everybody's doing the responsible thing. Everybody's not doing the courageous thing. And I'm just like, when do y'all want to do something more courageous? When are we gonna lay these fears to rest? When are you gonna stop pretending like you don't have fear? You know, all these adults get all grown up and they start, oh, my house this and oh, my kids that. Now, you know, you have all these wonderful distractions. But I didn't forget 5-10 years ago, you told me about the master's degree you got in theater. You know what I mean? Where's your theater? Where's your play? When do you want to shoot this movie? Is this your way of telling me you don't want me to be in your movie? Like, what's happening? What's happening, guys? You know, it's like death to these fears, death to... Oh, one thing I forgot to say in this card came up in another reading, and I talked about the flag in terms of making an announcement. That's why it's like part of Spirit's been pushing me to put myself out there and opening up my mouth, because it's also like not just making a general announcement, but telling people, like, this is the new me. Like, this is the old me. This is the new me. This is the old me. This is the new me. Hi, new me who, you know what I mean? Like, I'm up here now. You can stop going on and on and on about this person I used to be. People bringing up stuff that they think I said 8 years ago. Does it really matter? Even if I did? It's like, I'm up here now. This is my old self. This person that's like, I don't understand what's going on here. They're like, look up here. I'm up here now. I'm not that, you know, that's the old me. I'm dead. The old me has died. I'm up here now. Pay attention. I'm on this horse. I'm moving forward now. They're just like, where are you going? I'm going where the hell I want to go. You coming or not? What the hell? Stop asking me where I'm going. You coming or not? Where do you want to go? Maybe we'll go there. I don't know. See? It's like, you coming or not. I'm trusting the flow of my intuition. When we say go with the flow, we don't literally mean go with the crowd. What's your current? Where is your intuition want to guide you? And you take your swords with you. Remember I said you can trust your gut and you can trust your heart. And you can take your brain with you. Everything doesn't have to be head over heart and heart over head. Your whole body can go with you. It's okay. You can think with both your head, your heart, and your gut at the same time. Right? You take your time at first, by all means. Don't rush. Like I said, the Fool card, see? The Temperance. Tempering ourselves. I'm tempering myself. I'm balancing. I'm finding that balance. See? And the magic happens when you temper yourself. When you temper yourself and trust your current, trust your flow. When we say go with the flow, it really means yours. We forget, like, as human beings, we're made of 80% water. We are water. We are energy. Energy is always in motion. Not to say, by all means, be still when it's time to be still. When it's time to go, go. Like I said, I'm on the horse. I'm out. They're like, where you going? What do you mean? What's happening? It's like, what do you mean? What do you mean what's happening? I'm a magician now. I'm all grown up, mama. I'm magical as hell now. Right? All that following my intuition. The more you follow your intuition, the better you get at following your intuition. Give yourself some space for mistakes. Don't take the biggest risk of your lives when you're unsure. Take a small one. You don't got to take $1 million risk off the bat. Take a $10 risk, and then take a $20 risk, and then take a $30 risk. You know, no pain, no gain. You get out what you put in. You know, all these, right? What are you willing to put in? How much time you willing to put in? How many mistakes you willing to put in? Maybe you're lucky enough to have parents and grandparents to teach you when you were young that you're magical and how to use that magic. Some of us were not so lucky. Okay? Some of us had to learn through trial and error. And we did that. And I learned for all the trial and error. I'm more and more impressed with myself every time. With every lesson learned, I'm just more and more impressed with myself. Right? All right, where are we going with this? 1, 2, 3. I think we're just about ready to wrap up. We're at 20 minutes. That's good. I've been doing pretty good at staying at the 20-minute mark. I'll grab a couple of these dragon cards. And then I'm going upstairs to eat. I'm hungry. I'm gonna spend a little more time talking about these dragon cards one of these days. We just had a new moon, right? We just had a new moon. The last full moon was in Aries. There's this new moon. We're still in the sign of Libra. Libra is balance, right? Balance, temperance, air, flow, breathe, right? Think it through. We're also at the end of Libra season. We're going into Scorpio season. And I think I said in one or two readings ago that when I think of Libra season, I think of the veils being a lot thinner. But Scorpio is low-key a very magical sign. A lot of magical things that happen. I feel like we've seen this. I really feel like we've seen this. Deep Blue Dragon. The Deep Blue Dragon, it keeps you safe by clearing your path. Trust that you are protected. Walk on a path of light. Trust that you are protected. That's what I mean before when I said a lot of times making honest mistakes, but also dealing with backstabbing, it could cause you to be more hesitant. It definitely did that to me, right? I became a lot more hesitant where I wasn't anymore. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I've been releasing a lot. Releasing that hesitation, that apprehension that's come into my body. Releasing all that stress and anxiety that had built up in my body when I was going through stuff. And so, because you learned the lesson, right? Maybe you're still going through this, but I'm just gonna assume out here that if you're resonating with me, we're going through a similar thing. We're going through something similar around the similar time, right? So you did the trial and error. You learned. You grew. You discovered and uncovered your magic. You might have even discovered and uncovered gifts, talents, and abilities you didn't even know you had. And even you discover a newfound appreciation for the gifts, talents, and abilities you already have, right? And this is Spirit's way of saying, congratulations, you learned the lesson, and this is your harvest. Your harvest is, we sent this fire-breathing dragon, right? Deep blue as in like ocean, as in also throat chakra. Throat chakra is really important. Like I feel like we've been experiencing orange and blue a lot. I mean, obviously, you just, by all means, just go ahead and balance all your chakras. But I feel like the blue and orange, the sacral and the throat chakra, these are really important chakras for manifesting. These are really important chakras for manifesting. And Spirit is saying, now that you've learned the lesson, you know, like in those movies or even the video games where they go through and then they get to the end of the board, and then there's a door and there's a man at the top of the board, and he has all these, you know, there's usually a bunch of words that come on the screen, so there's this whole long spiel, right? This is Libra season. Libras are talkers for sure, usually. And Libras are talkers. Libras are also thinkers, right? Libras are the balance. So you spent this time balancing things out. In other words, you went through what you went through, and now maybe you're clearing out some of that. You're releasing some of that. Not some of it. You're doing your best to release it. Maybe you're meditating. Maybe you're working out. Maybe you're breathing. Yes, breathing. Not breathing fire, but breathing. I forget. Breath work is a thing. I've been doing some deep breathing lately. Just deep breathing. Sometimes I literally when I'm outside going for walks, especially when I'm out in the park and there's not a lot of people around me, I'll literally walk and breathe loud. Like sometimes, we kind of tiptoe through these situations and moving in silence. We get so caught up moving in silence, you don't realize, like, wow, I haven't really talked in a while. When's the last time I yelled? When's the last time you screamed? When's the last time you just said blah, 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 blah? Right? Everybody's so serious all the time. So sometimes I would literally just walk through the park and just go, just allow myself to make the sounds. Woo, yeah, woo. Right? Cheer yourself on. I walk and I do this. Woo, we got this. We got this. I literally do this with myself. I literally just I walk by myself doing this. Woo! Woohoo! Make some noise. Make some sound. Crack the air a little. You know what I'm saying? Announce yourself. Let these spirit guys know that you know that they know that you know. Right? Not just the spirit guys, the low vibing entities trying to get on you. Let them know. Right? What's your war cry? Where's your celebratory song? All of that. Here we go. Another one about sunshine. Let me see. Sunshine yellow. See, is that an ambulance in the background? I see the sirens as transformation. I mean, for me, sirens are confirmation. Like, you got it. Now go do it. But yellow, sunshine yellow dragon helps you help animals. Okay, this message is probably for me. I don't know. Maybe there's a few of you out here. Serve animals, heal, respect, and understand them. So this is about healing animals, yellow. I don't know if you're into, maybe you, I'll share one thing about myself, and I'm going to wrap up because I don't want this to go for too long. But I've always thought to myself, the one profession the field I think I would have gone into had I not been so distracted when I was younger, just dealing with trauma and processing things and figuring out life, even trying to be in some little relationship, even though I was probably too young to be calling myself trying to be in a relationship. It's like, if it wasn't for all of that, I feel like if I had the space to really think about what I really want to do, you know what I mean? As opposed to getting caught up when everybody's telling me what they think I should do, is working with animals. I really think that's what I would have done. I would have been like a zoologist. Yeah, I think I would have been something like a zoologist, because I even entertained the idea of going to veterinary school. And I started watching this show, Critter Fixers, which I didn't like the name at first, but it grew on me. It's Critter Fixers. And these two black guys are veterinary, representation matters. And I just thought it was no coincidence that during the time that I'm watching television, because I'm not really a TV person, it just so happened to be a TV, COVID came, I moved home, and there's a TV there. And I started watching the show because I entertained the idea of going back to school to be a veterinary assistant. And I'm watching that and I'm like, do I want to deal with surgery though? Like, do I actually want to cut an animal open? Do I want to grab their balls? Because you know what I mean? You got to really get in there. You sticking your finger up things. And I'm like, nah, I don't think that's what I want to do. But then I'm like, they have like the zookeepers. I love the idea of just being paid to take care of them and befriend them. I think I would have been really great at that. Like, I think because animals just kind of gravitate towards me naturally already, and I never really had a pet. And the few times we call ourselves attempting, it was really just an attempt. It's like we barely had a chance to really get into it. And one of the things that happened when I left my last regular job, I actually worked for the DMV for a little while, and it was like as soon as I left that job, I went to volunteer somewhere, and then I made a friend who had a friend who walks dogs, and I was able to just start walking dogs. Like, that never happens, right? Like, walking dogs, they like you to have a year experience and all this other stuff. And they were willing to take a chance on me. And this is right before COVID. Things kind of went left once COVID hit. But I think about this all the time. So, like, maybe it's not animals for you. Maybe it is literally. Maybe you're somebody who owns a kennel and is hiring, and you're in New York City, and you just heard this and you want to message me, please do. But a friend of mine just so happened to hit me up recently saying they're looking for boarding for their puppy, right? So I'm like, what are the odds of that? And I just reconnected with this friend like 2 weeks ago. So I feel like Spirit is saying something like, but that's just, I'm talking about myself, but you can relate this to whatever it is your thing. What was the thing you wanted to do before the trauma? What was the thing you wanted to do before you ended up in that abusive relationship? You know what I mean? What was the thing you always wanted to do? And even if you can't do that exactly, what field it is in it? Like, that's why I was like, it's in the animal field, and like, I don't have to put all this pressure on myself to be a veterinarian, but maybe I can find a kennel that's hiring. Maybe I can. And part of the reason why I'm saying this too is literally what I said about the throat chakra. It's like I'm practicing the art of saying out loud, because again, like when you deal with betrayal, when you deal with gang stalkers, that's what they want, right? Gang stalkers and just low vibrational people, they want you to feel shame, and they want you to not feel confident. They don't want you to speak. They don't want you to say who you are. They don't want you to say what you love. They don't want you to speak. They don't want you to be confident enough to speak confidently about the things you want to do and the things you wish you would have done. And also, I don't like to dwell on shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but this is also my way. Literally saying this out loud is my way of telling the universe, I heard you. And again, like, what if somebody, maybe you live in New York City, you own like a doggy daycare. That's something I could definitely do. You own a kennel. I'm okay with cleaning up dog shit, as crazy as that sounds. Maybe you do work at a small petting zoo, and you're willing to give a chance to somebody. I have some pet sitting experience. I have some dog walking experience, so I'm not completely inexperienced at all. It's just so happen to be mostly cats and dogs, but I care. Like, I genuinely care to do a good job. Therefore, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna learn what I need to learn to show up, right? So that's my online resume real quick. And I decided to pick one more, but that one, I don't know. I think that's it. It's another blue one, and I don't think I want to go there right now. But yeah, you understand what I'm saying. It's like, where's my tribe? Spirit told me that when I learned this lesson, I was going to find my tribe. Okay, where are you? Secondly, don't be afraid to dream that dream again. Don't be afraid to dream that dream again. Don't be afraid to dream a new dream, but also don't be afraid to rekindle. Don't be afraid. Release that fear. Release the apprehension and the tension that may be stopping you from rekindling things with the things you used to love to do, or the things you think you would have liked to do. You used to write and you haven't written in a while. You used to paint. You haven't painted in a while. you used to hike more, and you haven't hiked in a while. Rekindle things with your first loves. What were the things you loved to do when you were 5 and you still love to do it? I just cracked open an old coloring book just because, right? I don't know what to paint, but I'm like, I can color. I can still get the energy going by just starting something. Am I wearing? I see I'm wearing one of my cheap bracelets. Right? It's simple plastic and a string. It's fun. I'm selling these for like $2. Let me know if you want a $2 bracelet. You get what I'm saying? All right, y'all. We got this. Peace, yo.